Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Dr. Jeff C. May, and buckle up, sit back, and get ready for another episode of Doctor's Orders, advice you should actually take. And the title of this one is, does your presidential candidate need a chiropractor? Yes, I'm going there because recently, earlier in the week, so at the time of this recording, presidential debates were last night. I'm not here to comment on who you want to vote for, blah, 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 and get you stirred up and fired up. I'm here to actually use something that's socially relevant, plug in some information, some applied knowledge that you can put into practice, which becomes wisdom and further better your life to be healthier, happier, more productive. That's what it's about. And that's what it's always been about here at Doctor's Orders and my career in running Advantage Health Center, the #1 natural healthcare destination in Southwest Minnesota. So let's get in it. Let's get at it. Because literally, the study I'm going to go over, I'm going to preface this with this. It comes from Scientific Reports in May 19th of 2022. It's volume 12, number 1, page 8,460. For those of you who want to double check me and come at me on the internet, let's go. Let's get it. We'll hug and high five when it's all done. Listen, we can debate all we want, but at the end of the day, either you're healthier, happier, more productive, or you're heading in the other direction. And we know that a salmon has to swim upstream. Listen, the only thing that moves downstream is dead. And that's what it's about. You can't just sit idly through life and expect to be sedentary and yet get the results of someone who's proactive, happy, and healthy and productive. Like that's just a fact. And so what the title of this article is, The Detection of Cognitive Decline by Spinal Postural Assessment in Health Exams of the General Older Population. Now, you may be sitting there and be like, whoa, pump the brakes, Dr. Jeff. I'm not old. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying we're all human, and eventually, guess what? Death wins in the end. Nobody gets out alive. So we're going to have to face this one way or the other. Wouldn't you want to have the benefit of being proactive going into something that we hope we have? We hope we all age. Like, so many people bitch and complain about having a birthday, but yet what's the alternative? Like, okay, birthdays are make a note or a milestone. And so many people are like, I hate my birthday. Well, what do you want? Not have a birthday? What does that mean? And so knowing and taking the foresight of being like, yeah, I'm probably going to age. Wouldn't you want to know how to age better? Like, so many people wish and come into the office, and I hear this a lot from patients, and they say, man, I just wish I would have started when I was younger. Well, this is an opportunity. This is like literally, you hear that? That's opportunity knocking. Actually, it was me just knocking. But I know the sound effects on the show are pretty impressive, so you probably thought that was opportunity as we get going into it. But here's the deal. I'm going to give you some points of reference for this study. So what they did is they were taking this thing, a measurement called the SVA, so the sagittal vertical axis. And what that is, if you were to take a plumb line, so a plumb line is something that's straight down. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you can see this is, I've got a spine here, and you go from C7. In fact, I'm going to show a picture of this a little bit better. The spine's not going to show it as well. But what they did is they took a plumb line from C7. So I'm making sure the audience can see this here. So from C7, they took a plumb line, and they dropped it straight down, and then your sacrum, which is the lowest, vertebrae basically in your spine, L5, then it goes to sacrum, and there's a line. And it basically, if you were to look at someone from the side, the further their neck, the base of their neck, for those of you I'm going to describe this, the base of their neck as it goes forward, that sagittal vertical axis, that SVA, the further it moved forward, increased the likelihood of cognitive decline. Now, how is that possible? Well, I'm going to get into that, and I'm going to show how they measure it. But obviously, definitions are important when we go into any of this. And so there's some key points from this article that I'm just going to drop on you. That as we go, MCI, mild cognitive impairment. A lot of people will hear the word mild and they'll be like, oh, that's not so bad. In Americans, we're like, oh, mild. It's okay. We don't want to hear moderate or severe, even moderate to the point, being in practice for 17 years now and being a healthcare provider. When you use the words mild, a lot of people won't take action. Like, they'll be like, oh, it's just mild. Well, guess where mild goes without action? It goes to moderate. And guess where moderate goes? To severe. And then severe is like the people walk in and be like, I don't know what happened. I just turned wrong, or I slept wrong and I have this pain. Man, you know what I want to say? I want to say, dummy, that wasn't just yesterday. That wasn't just last night. That was mild at some point. And now it's interrupting your life, and that sucks. And I have empathy for you, and I have empathy for that. But let's do something proactive. So mild cognitive impairment is a big deal. You know why? Because it causes problems with memory, language, thinking, and judgment. Memory, language, thinking, and judgment. Wouldn't you want those things like to be in order, especially when we talk about people making massive decisions in your life, or maybe governing bodies, that they're going to need their memory, language, thinking, and judgment. Like I pray to God, the people that make laws and do those things have sound judgment. So mild cognitive impairment is a big thing. And now we can have this measurement literally of like saying, okay, C7, as that moves and drifts anteriorly from the lower part of our spine, is going to affect our brain. Oh my gosh. And a lot of this, how does that happen? It's not just about the spine. It's about your ability to move. Your spinal alignment affects the nervous system. The nervous system is the master system that controls everything. Your brain, spinal cord make up your central nervous system. And then everything coming off your spine in terms of the 31 pairs of spinal nerves that run every single function in your body make up the peripheral nervous system. And that's where chiropractors find and detect irritations and breakdowns in communication, and then make adjustments to help enhance that, remove the nerve irritation, and then reconnect, so to speak, that neural transmission system. Think of like a safety pin. Like you've got the top and the bottom. When the safety pin's open or there's a breakdown in communication, there's not a full circuit. It's very, very, very simple things. And yet now we have these measurements and these studies catching up with what we've known and what we've seen in chiropractic for over like 120 years. And then now we see individuals over the age of 70. Okay, so I'm going to give you a stat. Individuals over the age of 70, 14% have sufficient cognitive impairment to warrant a diagnosis of dementia. 14%. So if you think about, like, if 10 people were lined up, 1.4 of those people, so we got one fully there with a diagnosis of dementia, and one's almost halfway there. That's how statistics in that work. But that's a big thing. And when we look at, okay, well, how is this possible? Like most people are going to hear this and they're probably going to click on the title. They'll be like, oh my gosh, you're talking about politics. I'm really talking about people, because people are where I love to take care of and serve. I truly believe, like, God says, hey, I've given everybody gifts and talents and abilities, and one of mine is to take care of people. But ultimately, communication and helping people realize, like, why. A big reason, like, why you want to be healthier, happier, and more productive. And if you need a reason, look no further than your kids. If you're a parent, oh my gosh, look no further than your children. Like, they're watching, they're seeing you. I want my kids to grow up and dominate. I want them to be healthy and live a full quality of life. And every parent, wants that. So back to this cognitive decline, like literally your ability to think, make decisions, your language, your memory, all of those things. And it's crucial that when we look at this, that anterioralization, okay? So as we drift forward of spinal balance, many, many times, I guess this is crucial, it existed at the onset of cognitive impairment. So now as we have these tests, which I'll actually go through, by the way, in the debate last night, you heard the candidates talking about, well, I took this test and so didn't take this test. I remember, hearing about that. And in 2020, I'm going to pull this up because what they're talking about is there's a mini mental state examination. And I can give you examples. I'll pull up some questions that is on that exam. I actually have them here as we pull up. I apologize. I was super excited to do this show. I was up early this morning talking about this. But one of the candidates this was back in 2020, they were talking about how they took this mini mental exam, the state examination, and a score of greater than 24 is considered normal. And for example, so some of the things on this question, and they can get a maximum score. They range from like 1 point up to 5 points. And this isn't hard. This isn't a hard exam. Like, nobody talks about this, but the mini mental state examination, I'm going to give you a question right now. Where are we now? What state? What country? Town and city? Hospital? What floor? Like, they'll give you examples of where you're at, and you get 5 points if you know where you're at. Like, this isn't rocket science. This isn't hard. And to think that anybody wouldn't want to take this test to just be like, yeah, I got this, is concerning. So now as we look at this, does it affect male and females differently? Yeah, it does. And here's some key points is that, males, if you have regardless of age. So I know I've been talking about like some of the older populations, but regardless of age, if you have 4 inches of this SVA, remember that sagittal vertical axis, that measurement from C7, and here's, nobody's probably going to go out and get this measurement, but if you look at someone from the side and they're drifting forward, like think about who's at risk, regardless of age. What are we doing with our cell phones? Oh, we're just like on our phones and we're this little zombie and we just look and we scroll. Like our scroll muscles have gotten stronger and our brain's gotten weaker. That's a fact. Like your scroll muscle on Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you're at now, I don't even know. Like I'm not on these things, but like your scroll muscles, like that's a problem. And so as you drift forward or as we eat, watch somebody eat. Next time you're at the dinner table, by the way, with your family, get them around the dinner table. Next time you're at the dinner table and you're eating that, like we pick up the food and then we drift our head to our food. Like we're constantly doing this motion. And so 4 inches for a male, is that big? I don't know. Sorry, I had to do that. But if you have the SVA is 4 inches at any age, you're likely to have cognitive decline. That means your brain's going to be like mush. It's not going to be working as well. There's literally gray matter in your brain that will shrink. Like because of this anterior drift, like you're lacking input. Your brain's a muscle. So if you lack nerve input from lack of range of motion, did you know there's things called mechanoreceptors in the spine that relay information? So the lack of range of motion, you get lack of input like any muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. Come on now. And when you start thinking about your brain as a muscle, maybe you'll start taking your spinal health more serious. I'm just saying, I'm just a chiropractor, but it's a fact. And it's something that we've seen year after year here. And we've seen it reverse. Here's the good news. You can get it back. There's this thing called dyskinesis. It's a reversible neurological condition that literally you become inefficient. You become inefficient at firing neurology and muscles and everything. Your life runs through your nervous system. Don't forget that. So with females, if they go 2.75 inches, so it's about 70 millimeters, because that's what it's measured in the SVA, they're likely to have cognitive decline regardless of age. So this is a big deal. This is affecting everybody listening, not just the presidential candidates. Okay. I know that's a hot button. That's a hot topic, but understand like cognitive decline is crucial in everybody. So we know naturally we're going to have some deterioration with age. So why wouldn't you at this age remain what you have and improve? Well, how do I improve it, Dr. Jeff? Well, here's the thing. Go get a chiropractor on your healthcare team. Oh, I knew you were going to go to chiropractic. I knew you were going to say go to a chiropractor, Dr. Jeff, because that's the science and you're a quack. Well, okay, guess what? There's people that do it and get the results, and there's people that bitch about it and don't get the results and then complain about why they not having results. Let me drop a little knowledge bomb on you. I can't hear your whining over the people that are already winning. I can't hear your whining over the people that are winning. The people that are winning are doing the things that they need to do to get the results that they want. They don't just sit there and, recently I had a patient, they're like, well, I've got a lot of chiropractic experience, whether they worked with them or been under care and those things. I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. How's your health as a result of it? Well, they were in my office seeking help for problems. And yet here's the flip side. Unfortunately, they don't want to follow the recommendations that are going to get them better because they're like, well, I don't get it because of these past experiences. Listen, your past experiences have gotten where you are currently now. So if you're not happy with where you're currently now, AKA you're in my office complaining about pain and problems, if you don't change moving forward, then I'm not your guy. I would rather fail to be your doctor than fail to get you well. And ultimately, it comes down to creating a plan based on where you're at and where your goals are. And that plan, AKA the gap in between your goals and where you're at with your health, is what we put in place. And it's crucial to know those 2 points. Like navigating on a map. If you don't have navigation, if you don't have 2 points on a map, if you know where you want to go, but you don't know where you are, good luck. Good luck. You might as well put a blindfold on and just walk around in the woods and hope you get there. Hope is not a strategy when it comes to your health. And I hope you're hearing me on that. Like I can hope and pray you hear me on this, because hope is not a strategy when it comes to your health. And so ultimately it comes down to what is the doctor's orders of the day. This is a fiery episode. I hope you share this one. I hope you click like, subscribe, you comment on who you're voting for. I don't give a rip. What I do give a rip is let's cast the ballot for yourself. Let's cast the vote for yourself this fall, or actually don't even wait till the fall. Vote for yourself today and do what you need to do. Move your spine, get adjusted. Hydrate yourself, movement, because these sedentary lifestyles are killing us. Sitting is the new smoking, and it's probably the new meth. We used to say all the time, sitting is the new smoking. Sitting is the new meth. Yeah, sitting's the new fentanyl. That's what it's doing to you because it's destroying your life. I can't help people that come in here and say, I sit 10 hours a day and I have no other choice. No, you got a mental issue. You got I need to get a Q-tip and reach in and maybe adjust your brain. I don't know how to do that. It's probably out of my scope of practice. So in case you're from the state board, I'm not doing that, just to be clear. So the question of the day is, what are you going to do to increase movement? What do you know you need to do? Because ultimately, you know what? You're your best doctor. You know where you're sitting too much, where maybe, you look in the mirror and you realize, man, what's that SVA thing? I think my head's drifting forward. I can't even extend. I can't look up. I can't check the blind spot when I'm driving. Yeah, there's some issues there. There's signs and symptoms that you may not be causing you debilitating pain, but they're interrupting the function of your brain. And to me, I'm just not going to allow that. I don't want that for me, my family, or any of my patients. So here's the thing. You need to spend some time in the mirror today. You need to look at yourself and say, what do I need to get a hold of in my life? Do I need to check this angle? Do I have a chiropractor? Do I need to talk to my chiropractor about these things? Ultimately, these are the questions that you got to ask. And the people who will ask them will come up with answers. And those answers will drive actions. And the people who take actions are going to be the people who get results. And those are the people I'm going to be hugging and high-fiving at the end of the day. #Advantage Life all day, every day. And that's what it's all about. So share this episode. Until next time, get with it. Live in that advantage life. Healthier, happier, more productive. Beat the drum. Here we come. We'll talk to you soon.